Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, aka Princess Audu. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. So today's video is a little chit chat video. I have been a content creator, a blogger for about 7 years, and I think this year actually makes it 8 years. I initially started out as in a fashion blog or on a fashion blog back then when blogs were a thing, and over the years I've moved from Instagram to having a Twitter account to now diversifying, having a lifestyle page, and also being on YouTube as you're seeing now, as well as gone full-time in this. Like, I've been doing this full-time for over a year now. So today's video, I just thought to get on here and just talk, reminisce, basically look back at some of the things I wish I knew when I started this journey, this creative journey, some of the things that I know now, the lessons learned, and also advice and tips for anyone who's starting out in this niche or who wants to go into content creation. So be sure you give this video a thumbs up. Definitely do subscribe to my channel, guys. I have a lot to say, so grab something to drink or eat and let's just jump right in. So the first thing I wish I knew when I started was the thing about niche. The things about niche that I wish I knew were the two things. Number one, basically niche is what area you want to focus in. Your niche determines your growth, how fast you grow, and also your money. It determines how much money you make and how easy it is for you to scale it. Okay, so I am a content creator. I focus on fashion and now lifestyle. One of the things I've come to notice over the years of doing this is that some niches are perhaps not as profitable as other niches. Okay, now I'm not saying that there's not money in it, but then some niches are more profitable. So when you come to a niche like fashion is what I've been doing for years. The thing about fashion is that the niche is oversaturated. There are a lot of people in this niche in Nigeria, especially because it's like the most straightforward thing to do because you just have to post about clothes. And when it comes to making money as a content creator, an influencer, when it comes to fashion, and especially in Nigeria, you're working a lot with SMEs as opposed to big companies who can afford to pay you your worth, right? So with fashion, you have to work a lot with SMEs who may not, one, have be able to pay you your worth, or two, basically not want to pay, like not understand paying. And then when you have bigger SMEs like reputable brands, they'd rather just send you products as opposed to paying you because they know that they're valuable enough for people to want to be affiliated and associated with them. So that's one of the issues, one of the things I struggle with, especially as a fashion creator. Yes, there are ways to make money in fashion and there's a way to make it profitable, but I've come to notice that it's not as profitable as other niches. And I shared a video on how to make money as a content creator and influencer in Nigeria. Do check that out. I share tips of how I do it as well as how other creators do that. So if you want to see some ways to make money in fashion or other niches as a whole, do check that out, especially if you are a content creator or an influencer or somebody with an online presence that's just trying to make money online. But yeah, I talked about fashion not being as profitable as other niches. Let's talk about niches that are profitable. When it comes to a niche like lifestyle is encompassing because you can do so much. But in Nigeria, niches that are profitable is lifestyle, tech, finance, and even beauty. It's weird saying that because you're like beauty, but think about it. When we talk about brands like Nivea, Vaseline, these are all multinational brands that have a presence in Nigeria. So, and then I noticed that the industry, while there are many people doing beauty, not many people bring a good quality to it, a good standard, or bring quality content to beauty. So one thing I will say is that to people who are starting out is be very mindful of your niche. Like, the thing is, a lot of us started out content creation without the thought of making money. It was more like, I love doing this, so I'm going to do this. And that's very important thing when you're starting out. But if you're someone who's thinking or hoping to make money from this, because you can make a lot of money from this, if you're someone who's hoping to make money from this, you might want to consider the niche that you focus on. And I'm saying this as someone who now has a lifestyle and food page. And that page, guys, I started that page sometime last year. This year, we started the year with about 3,000 followers and now it's 9,000. That's where niche comes in, because that niche of fashion and of lifestyle and food is a niche that people need. People want to know where to go, where to hang out. So it's easier to grow on that kind of platform or on that kind of niche because their content is shareable. You're giving so much value to people. I'm not saying fashion is not valuable, but it may not be as valuable to a lot of people as opposed to where to eat or how to use this phone, or also how to education. The niche as education is also very profitable because through that niche you can sell courses. Guys, this is a long topic that I don't even know, like I can't even go to, because then this would be like another video. But in the video I talked about how to make money online, selling courses or PDF documents on how to do things was one of the things I talked about on how to make money. And that's where it comes to niche. People who have the niche or go into the niche of education, teaching people how to do things online, they have more control over their resources, because then they can just hold up class. So one thing I wish I was more mindful of, or that I knew when I started, was the importance of niching down, and also focusing on niches that are more profitable, right? Because the thing about niche is that once you start, you can, and another thing about niche is very important, because it shows, it makes you known for something. But if you go too far in a niche, it can also box you in. And that's the thing. I mean, there are people who have been able to do all of the niches, right? But at the end of the day, it's good to be known for something and then expand to other things, or try a bunch of things and decide that this is where you want to focus on. So your niche is very important. It determines how fast you grow. It determines the kind of opportunities you get, and also how much money you make. And y'all know money is important, okay? I don't know about you, but I mean, it's important to me. Money. Another thing I wish I knew when I started was how to negotiate. Now, negotiation is not something that you just know. You know how to negotiate better the more times you do it, and the more you learn about it and then hear how other people got deals. So one thing I will say is that it's always important to negotiate deals. Never be scared to ask questions and to ask for more. When brands reach out, the goal is to spend as little money as possible. So sometimes they come without a budget. It is our job as content creators to ask how much, or what's on ground, what are the deliverables, what are the expectations. That's something I wish I knew, because I found in my early days, especially, I would jump into collaborations without asking the right questions. And let me tell you something, when you don't ask, or when you don't negotiate, even when there's a budget, you're leaving money on the table. Like, there's money, like a lot of these opportunities, especially when it comes to PR companies, there's a provision for money to cover the cost, because this is a job. Content creation, influencing is marketing, it is product photography, it is a job, right? And when you don't negotiate, when you don't ask to be paid, you also shortchange colleagues in the industry. Because I mean, if someone at a certain level is not charging, the brands will be like, so why are we paying you if this person is doing it for free or at a very discounted price? So knowing how to negotiate is very, very important. And you're not going to know it immediately. The more you do it, the more work you put in, you'll be like, oh, I should have asked for more. So never be scared to ask for more. That's one thing I wish I knew when I started. And another thing I wish I knew was to always ask for money first. When a brand reaches out, it's always like, okay, do you have a budget? Find out from them, is this paid? Because some brands reach out to you for collaborations. There's actually a budget. It's a technique, it's a tactic that PR companies use to try to save costs, or to not spend money that their clients has appropriated for collaborations. And the goal is, I mean, businesses want to make as much money as they can without spending money. If a brand gives you a budget, see, let me tell you, sometimes you can even go like high, like ×2. You'll be surprised at them, seeing them agree, as far as you can back up what you're asking for with your stats, your reach, your results. It's fascinating, but once you do it once or twice, your eyes will just open and you'll be like, oh my God, wow. So I could actually do this. I could actually make more money. So never be scared to negotiate better deals, to ask more questions, or ask to be paid more, or to even be paid. That's one thing I wish I knew when I started. But really, negotiating is hard. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes experience, it takes talking to other people, learning tips as well. But one thing I would say is, think of negotiation as how you go to the market. You want to buy something. The trader always tells you a higher price. For example, you want to buy this dress. The seller will probably tell you this dress is 8,000. But when you want to negotiate, you start from 4,000. That's how it works. That's the same mentality that you should use when it comes to pricing yourself, or knowing whether you should increase the money. That's one thing I wish I knew when I started. And one tip I will say for people who are not sure is to always negotiate over emails or chats. A lot of Nigerian businesses I've noticed like to do phone calls, but phone calls put you in tight spots because you have to think on your feet, and sometimes you can make mistakes. So when you negotiate over emails, you can ask people around you, either your blogger friends, your family, your friends, what they think about it. And it's surprising, but the more you talk to people, the more they're like, oh, try this, ask for more, right? Even people that are not in the niche can always give you advice on how to negotiate better deals, right? And for people who are saying, because when I started, I didn't know how to charge. I didn't know how to do this. In fact, I undercharged. There was a point where I was on Instagram. I think I had like 12,000 followers, and I was charging 5,000, 10,000 for a post. That was when I didn't know like what it entails to do content creation. So I was really undercharging because I didn't know. But one thing I've learned, especially going forward, especially when I don't know how much to charge, when a brand is specific or when it's a certain kind of brand, I ask, how much is your budget? That's one thing I wish I knew. Asking how much is your budget, because sometimes you can actually shortchange yourself when you give your rates first, because sometimes brands are willing to pay more than your rate. So it's always important to ask these questions, and the more you do it, the better you get. Another thing is to stand your ground. Guys, pride is very important. If you feel disrespected, if you feel that this brand doesn't value you by how they speak, know when to walk away. Know when to walk away. There are deals that I've taken and I regret it till now because I'm like, I should have walked away. I shouldn't have done this for free. And that's the thing. You need to know, not every opportunity is going to be a paid job, but at the same time, you need to know which deals or which collaborations to walk away from and which collaborations to agree to do for free or at a discounted cost. And it brings me to the next thing I was talking about, trusting your gut, trusting your instincts. As a Christian, I would say trusting your spirit man and what the Holy Spirit is telling you. Really, you need to trust your gut because your gut is almost always right. And that's one thing I didn't do when I started, because I was always like excited to work with brands. And sometimes it's not like the opportunity is bad, right? But you end up working with brands and your gut told you don't do it. But you looked at the money or the opportunity and you did it, and then you regretted it because some clients, that could be your gut warning you against a difficult client, a collaboration that may not yield results, something that may frustrate you, or basically, as Nigerians will say, stories that touch the heart. Trust your gut. Your gut will guide you. It will help you know when to ask for more money, when to negotiate for better deals, when to walk away, and when to work for free, or when to do something in exchange for products. Your gut is almost always right, because I'm telling you, anytime I go against my gut feeling, I always regret it. I'm like, hi, Sarah, who sent you? So another thing I've learned over the period of time is how, I know I talked about like not doing free work at times because it can shortchange people, but in this industry or in life as a whole, sometimes you have to work for free to get paid or to get access to more opportunities. This is especially when we're starting out, because when you're starting out, you don't have a track record, you don't have brands that it's like just like how you do an internship where you work for free or for limited pay to get access to a job. It's the exact same thing that the way it goes in content creation. Some brands will reach out to you, they won't pay you, but just being affiliated with that brand will lead to more opportunities that will come from it. That the most important thing with this area is knowing who to work for free for. That's the thing about gut. That's where your gut comes in, knowing whether you should take this collaboration and knowing whether you should do this at this time, and also knowing if this is going to add value to you. Because some brands come to you and tell you that, hey, we're just new, we don't know how, we've never worked with you before, let's kick things off, let's start things off, and then the next opportunity will pay you. Let me tell you, it's a lie. A lot of times it's a lie. There are brands that will come with that line of, hey, do it the first time, next time we'll pay your make revision. It's a lie, because when they work with you, right, they know that they need to work with other influencers. If they've done work with you for free, they won't see the point of paying because they'd rather go somewhere else. The only exception is when there are strong results and the brand sees the value. That's where it comes to knowing your gut. When the brand sees your value, then they'll go ahead. I've personally had brands that I've worked with. Like, in fact, one of the brands I work with today and do a lot of social media management that I do for them, I started out working with them for free. And the second time I worked for free again. The next time I worked at a discounted price. The next thing you knew, it became a consistent source of income for me. And that was my gut feeling there, telling me that this brand was worth my while. And also because this brand aligned with my brand goals and brand vision. So it's always very important to know when to embark on paths, when to take on opportunities, because that also determines where you'll be. So if I had not done that job for free, I probably wouldn't still be working with this brand on a longer scale over like a period of years now. I think about 3 years now. I'm still working with the brand, all because I did free. So you just have to be strategic. Some brands you just have to say no to, and also say it. And also when you're taking on jobs or working for free, you need to be like nice, okay? You need to think about the colleagues, because one of the biggest issues we have in this industry is people shortchanging others. Because you're working for free, someone else may not be able to get paid, because it's like, if we're paying you, why are we paying them? And that's one thing I've come to notice over time. We are the ones, the issues with ourselves. So never leave money on the table, okay? Because sometimes as well, if you keep doing it for free, you'll never get paid. That's just the truth. It's all about being strategic, trusting your gut, and knowing when to take on certain opportunities like that. You get what I'm saying, right? And also understanding that sometimes you just have to spend your own money before you get a brand to pay you. You have to buy that product. That's one thing I've learned over time. When you buy, you get noticed, because this brand that I've even met, this brand that I worked with that I did for free, I actually bought their product and I styled it, and that's what got me noticed. And that's something that has worked over time in getting collaborations, doing it free, or getting them to notice me first. Either the brand themselves reaches out to me, or another brand reaches out to me. And that's where it comes to being strategic in the kind of opportunities and content you create as well. Also, another thing I learned from doing content creation is not to overpromise. There are times when influencers tell brands, I will give you 20 new sales. Never overpromise, because we have no control over Instagram. We have no control over social media. All we have control over is the kind of quality of content that we can do. While we have a track record, I'm almost Kasala de boss. So one has to never overpromise a brand. Promise or say what you can do. Never say things that are reliant on invariables or algorithms or how well your posts do. I can vouch that I can create this certain quality of video because I have control over it. I can vouch that I can post at this time because I have control over it. But I can't say the number of people that are going to like this post, the number of people that are going to buy, because I don't even know. Because a lot of times people are influenced, they buy things and they never give you feedback and they never let the brand know. If you're one of the people, stop doing that. Please, whenever you're plugged by an influencer or content creator or anybody on social media, please mention their name. It helps us get more opportunities, and also it helps businesses see that, hey, this marketing strategy or tactic that is out there actually works, and it helps businesses know what steps to take. Another thing I will say when it comes to collaborations, one very important thing that I wish I knew earlier that I've learned over time as well, is the importance of signing contracts, especially when starting. Signing contracts, stating out deliverables clearly, as well as collecting a deposit up front. See, some clients will stress your life, okay? And that's the thing about trusting your gut. Contracts protect you. It helps the brand know what to expect from you. It determines how your content is used. I've seen stories of people not signing contracts and getting into issues. I've experienced it too. Thank God it hasn't been bad. I've had brands who wanted to frustrate me because there was no agreement, and try to keep things on email as well. I do my negotiations via DM, but the thing about Instagram DM, you can delete messages, but emails you never can. You have a thread of communication, which is really important, especially when working with bigger brands. And it's not every time that you have to sign a contract, right? If you're working with certain reputable brands and it's just a one-off deal, you may not need a contract, especially when these bigger brands are negotiated. But it's good to have a thread of emails to keep records of everything that was discussed. So have a contract. It protects you. It really does protect you, and it has protected me many times. Clearly state deliverables. Do not overpromise, right? And also make sure you collect your deposit. This is one thing I've learned. Okay, sometimes you actually collect the product and create content. In fact, if you don't see money, don't start work until you see money. This is especially for my people in Nigeria. I know in other countries like abroad, you have to create the content first before you get paid, but in Nigeria we get paid first before we create the content, especially when working with Nigerian brands. So please make sure that the terms are clear, and also that you collect most of your monies to avoid stories that touch the heart. I beg. It's for your own good, and this is something that I've learned that I do that has protected me over the years. Another thing I wish I knew when I started was the importance of investing early. Guys, when I started, I used to shoot on an SLR camera. Back then, it wasn't a big deal because then blogging, I started on a blog, by the way. It wasn't like that serious. Yes, people were making money from it, but it wasn't now the way it is, where people are shooting videos at 4K on YouTube. They have the highest resolution pictures, shooting videos on expensive cameras. It wasn't like that then, but over time, people started to upgrade, and at that time I didn't have money. I mean, I had money at a point to buy the camera, but I didn't do that. And the moment I invested in a camera, a DSLR camera, about 4 years ago, I noticed a huge difference in my growth as a content creator. Number one, I started getting pitches, collaboration pitches. Back then it wasn't paid, but from getting 0 pitches to getting pitches from people who even offered to pay. I think when I upgraded and got a camera, the next month or so, I got my first paid job, which was I think 10,000 naira for 2 posts, 3 years ago or something. And that was all because I had access to resources to buy a camera and to finally take my content to the next level, because that's the standard. We tell people, or they tell us not to start with what we have. And the goal with that is to discourage people from waiting for things to be perfect before taking a step. But in as much as it's important to start without waiting for things to be perfect, it's also important to keep upgrading and leveling up. Keep upgrading and leveling up, especially if you want to grow and especially if you want to make money from this industry. So no pressure to anyone starting out. But as I always tell people, if you have the money, please invest. Find ways to get better all the time. Invest in your skills, in your editing, in your equipment, anything you can. Just try to get better. And I just have to mention, because I worked with a brand recently called All Small. All Small allows people, especially creatives, to buy products and pay in installments. So you can literally have the products that you want. Let's say it's a camera, and you can use that to create quality content. And I wish I had something like this when I started out. I'm just mentioning it because I really feel like it will help people. I wish I had something like this when I started out, because I literally had to save, and I was only able to buy a camera when I got a really good 9 to 5. One thing I wish I knew when I started is to invest early, because I know for a fact with my consistency back then, if I had invested and gotten better quality pictures then, when DSLR cameras were the in thing, I probably would have grown faster, and who knows where I would be. But no regrets. I mean, it's still a learning process. We're still growing, and thank God that we're doing okay. Yeah, we're doing okay, all things being equal. So please, if you can, invest early. It's so important to keep upgrading and keep leveling up ourselves, especially if you want to make this a profession or make money from this. This brings me to another thing that I've learned about comparison. Comparison has two sides, and I've realized in overtime that comparison can be good and bad. It was comparison that made me know that I had to step up, because my sister mentioned it to me, Sarah. I was so frustrated that time. There was a year I almost quit blogging. I think that was 2014. And I remember mentioning to my sister was like, see, Sarah, your pictures are not as good as other people's pictures. And I remember her mentioning my colleagues, and I felt really bad. But when I heard that, I took time to actually see what they were doing, and I changed my strategy. And it only got better after that. Sometimes when you compare yourself to other people, it helps you to level up. It helps you to know what to do to get better, because if people are doing certain things and it's getting results, it's worth a shot to consider it. I'm not saying copy people, because it's very important that we stay ourselves and follow our own path. But from time to time, study out people who are doing well in the industry and take notes from what they're doing. That's one thing I always try to do. It doesn't matter the person's number. If I see something that is working, I'm like, hey, why don't we try this, right? So comparison can be good because it helps you to know when to level up, but it can also be bad if you keep comparing your growth to other people's growth, because we all have different timelines. We all have different journeys. I know content creators who started years ago and were the big deal. Then now we don't hear anything about them anymore. And that's because they had their time, right? So don't get lost in trying to be other people, that you forget who you are and what you were destined to be and your purpose in this creative path. For my Christians out there, pray to God to just guide you and to lead you and to make the way plain for you, and not to get distracted by the algorithms and the engagement and other people flourishing, but to help you to focus on your purpose and His plan for you, right? I just had to plug that in. Okay? Another very important thing, which is something that has actually really helped me that I knew, is to have creative friends. Guys, have friends in the industry, because it not only inspires you, it makes you want to do better. We grow together faster. We grow faster together. Sometimes, okay, let's talk about negotiating deals. As a creator, I have people that I reach out to, because when brands reach out, they usually reach out to the same people. So I always ask, see, how much is this brand paying you? And that has helped me to negotiate better deals. Also, having creatives opened my mind to certain opportunities. When I hear about certain things, I'm like, wow, I've worked on campaigns before where I wasn't paid and other people were paid. And I asked, and asking helped me know that next time I was going to charge. But if I didn't have that access, I wouldn't know that people were collecting money and I was just there. You see what I'm saying? So it's good to have creative friends, because then they understand the struggles and challenges that come with the industry. They make you better and they open your mind to the possibilities. Like when you mingle with certain people and hear what they have to say about the industry, especially people who are more advanced, you actually learn. You learn a lot. You learn a lot by just hanging out with people in the same industry as you. So I really advise, I know it's hard for some people to go out there and get friends, but one way to do that, just engage with people's content. Genuinely find people that you like, support them, comment on their posts, share their posts, send them a DM, slide in the DM. Most of the creative friends that you see me hanging out with now all started on social media because we engage with each other's content, and that's just how it is now. There's no like stress. We're not friends, but we're friends enough to look out for each other and help each other. Also be cautious, because not everybody like that is looking out for your best interest, but it also helps to have people in the industry to share ideas with. One other thing I wish I knew was the fact that social media will frustrate you, particularly IG. You know how when you create content, you're so excited, you can't wait to post it, only for you to post it and 12 people only like it and the content doesn't reach far. See, the algorithms will frustrate you, especially Instagram algorithms. Don't let that get to you, and people will see your content and not engage. See, I was saying this the other day, guys, there's so much content out there, it's overwhelming. Even myself as a creator, I see so much good content and I want to comment, but I'm tired, because as a creator I have comments to respond to and I see so much content. Don't get discouraged because people are not applauding for you. Doesn't mean you're not doing well. You're doing amazing, okay? Don't be discouraged by Instagram trying to frustrate you. Rather, change your strategy. Another thing I've learned is never be scared to pivot. Never be scared to change things up. If you're doing something and you're doing it passionately and you know you're putting your best in it and it's not working, perhaps maybe it's not meant for you. Perhaps maybe that wasn't the path that you were meant to take. If you're Christian, pray about it. Ask God to direct you and lead you. Perhaps you were doing it wrong. Change your strategy or change what you were doing. Never be scared to pivot. Never be scared to take a step back and be like, hey, this thing, this industry or this niche I chose is not working. Let me try something else. I will give you a simple example of myself. I actually started lifestyle a while ago at Princess Audu, and I've actually always wanted to do lifestyle because I love going out, I love exploring places, I love eating, I love food photography, and I tried posting lifestyle on Princess Audu, but that was when I was already niched too much into fashion, and I noticed it wasn't working as such, and I decided to start a lifestyle page. Praise the Holy Spirit, because it was direction, divine direction, and look at where we are now. That's never being scared to pivot, because I really wanted to do this, and I was like, hey, maybe it's not working on here. Why don't we open another page? Don't do two pages if you can't manage it, but just seeing the growth of that page, the timeliness of it, just made me understand that, hey, if you're doing something and it's not working, change your strategy. Never be scared to pivot. Don't keep doing the same thing and then be complaining and disturbing yourself. See, sometimes you just have to let go. Walking away or giving up is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's necessary, okay? Don't psych yourself out because someone is doing something that's working for them. It may not be your path. That's just the truth. That's one thing I've come to realize, and it's been hard. Saying this now, I've actually beat myself up about this because you guys watch my series. You know how frustrated I am sometimes as a fashion creator, but it only gets better, and it's just to think about other things to do to make things work. So never be scared to pivot or change your strategy. That's one thing I wish I knew, because it would save me so much frustration, like being frustrated over Instagram. See, Instagram is meant to frustrate us because they want to make their money, but just keep trying. Let's just keep trying, right? And don't lose hope because people are not engaging with the content. Doesn't mean we're not seeing it. Guys, you are doing amazing. We see you. We really do see you. It's just that we're tired, like we're really tired. And another thing with pivoting, for people who want to pivot, just know that sometimes when you pivot, you may lose followers. If you started out in a niche and decided this is no longer for you, you can pivot, but just know that you may have repercussions to it with people not resonating with your content. And you see, that's okay. It is fine, because the people that are meant for you will find you as long as you're trying to put measures in place to attract them. That's one thing I wish I knew earlier. Another thing I've come to know, and something I wish I knew, and basically a lesson I learned, is the importance of staying on top of trends. When you see something trending or something working, jump on it, especially on social media, because that's what helps us to blow. Reels came out, people took it to their advantage. I saw people's accounts grow. Even looking at my lifestyle page, one of the things that helped me grow was trends, like hopping on trends, being the first to drop new locations and all of that. When you're on trend, you stay on trends, it gives people an opportunity to discover you. So as long as the trend is something that you can do without compromising your values, or something that is related to your niche, don't be scared to jump on it and pay attention. May your eye dig ground, okay? May your eye dig ground on what's trending and jump into it, especially as a creative, because that's what helps us grow. It really does help us grow. And finally, one thing I wish I knew, or something that I know now, is, guys, there is so much money in this industry. People are doing okay. You can make this a full-time job. Look at me. This can be a full-time source of income, right? It may not pay well when starting out, but it is something that people are doing okay from in Nigeria. Don't think that, hey, there's no money in this. I did a video on the truth about being an influencer in Nigeria, and I think I should do an updated video because so much has changed since then. While it's still valid, but a lot I've learned between now and then. I've learned so much that has changed that video completely. Guys, there is money in this thing. Oh, people are making so much money from this industry as a whole. The possibilities are just so there. When I think about it, it excites me because I'm like, 5 years from now, what would this industry be like? And the most important thing I would say, don't forget the grace factor. In as much as we're putting in our efforts, studying, putting our eyes on the ground, trying to do our best, don't forget that we can't do anything without God. So always pray. Commit your brand, your Instagram page, cover it with the blood of Jesus. Like, kabash over it, because in as much as our hard work can only take us far, God's hand and God's grace is what takes us to success. And I know it can be frustrating. I'm just saying this as a word of encouragement to myself as well, because I have been there. In fact, I'm still there, but I'm getting out of it. Don't lose hope because you're not seeing the results that you expect when you're putting in the effort that you know you're putting in. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. And those are just some of the things that I've learned. Some of the things I wish I knew when I started out as a content creator in this industry. Is there anything that you can relate to? Please do leave a comment down below and let me know. If you made it to the end of the video, also let me know. I'd love to know, because I know this is a really long video. So if you made it to the end, leave a comment. I'd love to know who you are as well. Is there something that I didn't mention that you've learned as a content creator, something you wish you knew when you started out? Leave that in the comment section as well. Also, if you have any questions, do let me know. I may do a follow-up video, or I'll just answer you down there in the comment section. Be sure you give this video a thumbs up, and you can also share snippets on Instagram and tag me at Princess Audu. You can follow me on Instagram at Princess Audu. This dress I'm wearing is by Virtue Clothiers, by the way. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Let me know if you made it to the end. Be sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, watch my other videos, and I will see you in my next one.